Welcome back. Water fertilizers are commercially produced plant nutrients. Fertilizers supply NPK, nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. They are used to ensure good vegetative growth, giving rise to healthy plants. Fertilizers are a factor in the higher yields of high cost farming. They should be applied carefully in terms of proper dose, time, and observing pre and post applications precautions for their complete utilization. Okay? Continuous use of fertilizer is an area can destroy soil fertility because the organic matter in the soil is not replenished and the microorganisms in the soil are harmed by the fertilizers used. Okay, so short term benefits of using fertilizers and long term benefits of using fertilizers we'll see on the next page. Let us see. Organic farming is a farming system with minimal or no use of chemicals or as fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, etc. Now we go to irrigation. Most agriculture in India is rain fed. That is, the success of crops in most area is dependent on timely monsoon and sufficient rainfall spread through most of the growing seasons. Ensuring that crops get water at the right stages during their growing season can increase the expected yields of any crop. So many measures are used to bring more and more agricultural land under irrigation. So water could be supplied in the following ways. Wells. There are two types of wells, namely dug wells and tube wells. Okay. Second is canal. Third, river lift systems. Next is tanks. This involves building small check dams which lead to increase in groundwater levels. The check dams stop the rainwater from flowing and also reduce soil erosion. Next, we go to the point important is cropping pattern. Different ways of growing crops can be used to give maximum benefit. Mixed cropping is growing two or three crops on the same piece of land. For example, wheat plus gram or wheat plus mustard or groundnut plus sunflower. Intercropping is growing two or more crops simultaneously on the same field of the definite pattern. The crops are selected such that their nutrients requirements are different. This ensures maximum utilization of the nutrients supplied. You can see the figure 12.2 of intercropping. Depending upon the duration, crop rotation is done for different crop combinations. Crop protection management. Field crops are infested by a large number of weeds, insect pests, and disease. If weeds and pests are not controlled at the appropriate time, they can damage the crop so much that most of the crop is lost. Weeds are unwanted plants in cultivated field, for example, xanthium. These are the names. Parthenium. They compete for food, space, and light. Weeds take up nutrients and reduce the growth of the plant. Therefore, removal of weeds from cultivated fields during the early stages of crop growth is essential for a good harvest. Generally, insect pests attack the plants in three ways. They cut the root, stem, and leaf. They suck the cell shape from various parts of the plant. They bore into stem and fruits, thus affect the health and crop affect the health of the crop and reduce yields. Disease in plants are caused by pathogens such as bacteria, fungi, and viruses. So we need to spray chemicals on them. One of the most commonly used method to use pesticide, which include herbicides, insecticides, and fungicides. Weed control method also include mechanical removal. Preventive methods such as proper seed bed preparation, timely sowing of crop, intercropping, and crop rotation also help in weed control. Some other preventive measures against pests are the use of resistant varieties and summer plowing, which fields are plowed deep in summers to destroy weeds and pest. The next very important part is the storage of grains. Factors responsible for such losses are biotic, insects, rodents, fungi, mites, and bacteria, and abiotic. So, preventive and control measures are used before grains are stored for future use. They include strict cleaning of the procedure before storage, proper drying of the produce first in sunlight and then in shade, and fumigation using chemicals that can kill pests. Next, we have animal husbandry. Animal husbandry is the scientific management of animal livestock. It includes various aspects such as feeding, breeding, and disease control. Animal based farming includes cattle, goat, sheep, poultry, and fish farming. As the population increases and as living standard increase, the demand for the milk, eggs, and meat is also going up. So, thus, livestock production also needs to be improved. Next point is cattle farming. Cattle husbandry is done for two purposes: milk and draught labor for agriculture work such as tilling, irrigation, and carting. Indian cattle belong to two different species: Bos indicus cows and Bos bubalis buffaloes. Milk producing females are called milch animals, dairy animals, while the ones which are used for farm labor are called draught animals. Milk production depends to some extent on the duration of the lactation period, meaning the period of milk production after the birth of the calf. For example, red Sindhi show excellent resistance to disease. The two can be crossbreed to get animals and the desired quantities. The food requirement for dairy animals are of two types. Maintenance requirement, which is the food required to support the animal to live a healthy life. Milk producing requirement, which is a type of food required during the lactation period. Cattle need balanced rations containing all nutrients in proportionate amount. Cattle suffer from number of diseases. The disease besides causing death reduce milk production. A healthy animal feeds regularly and has a normal posture. The parasites of cattle may be both external parasites and internal parasites. The external parasites live on the skin and mainly cause skin disease, and the internal parasites like worms affect stomach and intestine, while flux damage the liver. Infectious diseases are also caused by bacteria and viruses. Vaccinations are given to farm animals against many major viral and bacterial disease. Next, we have poultry farming. Poultry farming is undertaken to raise domestic fowl for egg production and chicken meat. Therefore, improved poultry breeds are developed and farmed to produce layers for eggs and broilers for meat. The cross breeding programs between Indian and foreign breeds for variety of improvement are focused on the developed new varieties, number and quality of chicks. Then we have you can see the figure 12.4, egg and broiler production. Broiler chickens are fed with vitamin rich supplementary feed for good growth rate and better feed efficiency. Care is taken to avoid mortality and to maintain feathering and carcass quality. They are produced as broilers and sent to market for meat purposes. The housing, nutritional, environmental environmental requirements of broilers are somewhat different from those of egg layers. Poultry fowls suffer from a number of diseases caused by viruses, bacteria, fungi, parasites, as well as from nutritional deficiency. This necessitates proper cleaning, sanitation, and spraying of disinfectants at regular intervals. Appropriate vaccination can prevent the occurrence of infectious disease and reduce loss of poultry during an outbreak of disease. Then the next point we have of fish production. Fish is a cheap source of animal protein for our food. Fish production includes the fine true fish as well as shellfish such as prawns and mollusks. There are two ways of obtaining fish. One is natural, which is called capture fishing. The other way is called fish farming, which is called culture fishing. Then we go to the next point, marine fisheries. India's marine fishery resource includes 7500 kilometers of coastline and deep seas area. Popular marine fish varieties include pomfret. The names of the fishes are given there. You can see in the figure also. Then we have inland fisheries. This practice is called mariculture. Ketla, silver carp, rohu, grass carp, mrigal, common carp. Variety of fishes shown in the figure. Beekeeping. Honey is widely used and therefore beekeeping for making honey has become an agriculture enterprise. The local varieties of bees used for commercial honey production are Apis, Serena, Indica, commonly known as Indian bee. The names of the bees are given here. You can see in the figure arrangement of beehive in an apiary. Now we see the conclusion of the chapter. There are several nutrients essential for crops. Of this, some are required in large quantities and are known as macronutrients, and others are called micronutrients. Manure and fertilizers are two main sources of nutrients. Organic farming is a farming system with animal or no use of chemicals as fertilizers, herbicides, pesticides, and with a maximum input of organic manures, recycled farm waste, and bioagents with healthy cropping system. Mixed farming is a system of farming on a particular farm which includes crop production, raising of livestock. Mixed cropping is growing of two or more crops simultaneously on same piece of land. Growing two or more crops in definite row pattern is known as intercropping. The growing of different crops on a piece of land in pre-planned succession is called crop rotation. Then the next point is for higher yield farm animals, poultry farming. About information about fish may be obtained from marine resources as well as inland resources. Composite fish culture is commonly used for fish farming. Beekeeping is done to get honey and wax. Okay, so read the lesson again and try to write the answer of the exercise. Thank you.